All right, guys, so welcome to Empowered Elites team call for March 9th. Before we get started, does anybody have rank advancements they want to shout out this week? I know I have one. No. Lauren Hayes is a new Emerald this week, so I'm shouting her out. She's not on, but super exciting. If nobody else has rank advancements, I just want to remind everybody that we are launching our Hammer and Chisel test group challenge group on the 21st. So make sure you are making challenge group posts for that and inviting to that group, because the bigger it is, the better it will be. And I'm going to go ahead and let Christina introduce our guest speaker for the night, since she's a lot more familiar. But thank you, Michael, so much for getting on tonight.
Dana, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So I am so excited that Michael is here with us today. I originally met Michael through his girlfriend, who is a longtime Pure Barre goer, and that's the fitness class that I teach in my neighborhood. And she's like, my boyfriend does headshots, and I was an actor in need, so I have some wonderful headshots by
gorgeous,
the fabulous Michael.
I love that you
and
have
now that I've cut my hair, I need to get some new ones, so I'll be talking to you about that later too. But so then I more recently, since my whole life has changed and now I'm a beach body and reinventing myself, I was looking at some of Michael's posts, and I saw Chalene Johnson in one of his tags, and I was like noticing some positive things coming on, and we seem to keep jiving recently. And so I was like, what is going on with him? What's happening? So we reconnected, and he told me about Periscope, and he is such an expert in this, and I'm really excited and honored that he is here with us, and he will rock your world. So without further ado, I give you Michael Cinquino.
Awesome. Thank you for the awesome introduction. I appreciate that. So I'll do like how much time do we have? Just so I can not over talk. What are your calls usually, like half hour?
I would go like 30, 40.
Got it. Cool. I just want to keep an eye on the time. So I'll give you like the 5-minute Michael, so you know a little bit about me, and then I'll tell you how I found Periscope, what it's done for me, and then what it can do for you. I have a diverse background, if you will. I was a U.S. Navy rescue swimmer, turned psychology major, turned actor, turned acting student for 7 years and 2 degrees in acting, turned actor in New York, turned professional photographer, turned speaker, turned Periscope personality, and who knows what else. So my training is as an actor. I've got a Master's of Fine Arts in Acting and a BA in Acting and Directing. I came to New York about 11 years ago now to be an actor. Soon after I arrived in New York, I shouldn't say that, about 4 or 5 years after I was here in New York, I found a camera and I started taking pictures for the first time in my life with the intent to try to take a good picture. And I traded careers and became a professional photographer. And I've been a professional photographer here in New York since 2009. To make a long story short, cut to a seminar that I was at last year. Little before that, I heard about an app called Periscope from my makeup artist, Amanda. And I heard about this app probably around like February last year or something like that, or March. And she's like, there's this really cool app called Periscope, and it's live video and it's great social media, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, Amanda, I do not have time for another social media platform. Thank you, but no thank you. I'm like, I have enough going on with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm a photographer. I don't even really do Instagram that well. I'm like, thank you, but no thank you. So I looked at the app. I was like, seems cool, but I just don't have time for this nonsense. Then I was at a seminar and I met someone named Chalene Johnson. And Chalene gave a pitch on Periscope. And what Chalene did was open to my eyes, or I should say open my eyes, the possibility that was Periscope and what could come from Periscope. And the way she put it was that, and it still is a new platform, is that, I love Chalene. She's I wouldn't be on this call right now if it wasn't for Chalene. I thank her endlessly on social media. I adore her. I've invested in her programs. I love Chalene Johnson. And I saw what the possibilities were, and the idea of being an early adopter on a platform. We all wish we could go back, right? If I could give you guys a time machine, wouldn't it be cool to do exercise videos on YouTube like 10 years ago or whatever it was, right? We'd all be millionaires right now because we'd be the first people there. So being an early adopter and seeing this medium, I thought I would give it another shot. And Shalene convinced me to give it another shot. So I did. So I made a commitment to get on this new platform and just start talking. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. Didn't know what I was going to do. I was so excited to get on Periscope and try this. And Shalene had me so inspired. So I get on my first real Periscope broadcast. And I thought I was going to be real smarty pants. I was like, I'm going to tell people how to get more likes on Facebook. That's what I'm going to do. My first thing, I'm going to get more likes. So I get on there and there's like no one in the room. One person comes in. I'm so excited. And there's this guy that comes in. I'm like, oh, great. I have a viewer. This is awesome. And I'm talking. And the very first comment I got on Periscope, for the record, was, "You're an asshole." That was the first comment I ever got. I was so thrown off. I was like, I started like stuttering. I didn't know what to do. I ended the broadcast. And that was that. I was like, okay, all right. So we're going to try this again. And what had happened was I just got on there and I just kept talking. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I was kind of like making up things. But what had happened was I started connecting with people. And I just thought, let me talk about what I'm passionate about. And the more I talked about what I was passionate about, the more I kind of found a direction in this medium. And now bear in mind, I was on pretty much every day for like 10 to 20 minutes for the first 3 months, I should say. In the first 3 months, I was able, just from Periscope, to profit to the tune of over $4,000 using just marketing stuff on Periscope. I was able to host a private broadcast on Periscope. So do you guys know, if I say OVO, do we know what that means? Does that opt-in value offer? Okay. So in the ye olden days, or I shouldn't say ye olden, in the older days of email marketing, you would have to have an opt-in, right? An opt-in page. We all know what those are. We've all gone to an opt-in page, right? Then you would have to deliver value through a series of emails. And then finally, eventually you would have an offer that you could give somebody, whether, it was to be a Beachbody coach or whatever that might be, or for your exercise program, whatnot. That used to take a really long time. It would take months to nurture somebody through email. I was able to do that OVO in like 3 months since I got on the platform, and make money literally from this room right here doing a private broadcast. I didn't need anything extra. I needed a sign up pay. I needed a way to take money, which was PayPal. So I took money with PayPal. I did a Periscope private broadcast for like 8 people. And then the next thing, I did a webinar for like 30 something people, and people were signing up. And then I did a course. So just to give you some numbers here, I have had my Facebook fan page since 2009. Okay, since 2009. I have put literally thousands of dollars in Facebook advertising into that page. On that page right now, I'll look at it right now and just give you a real number. On that page, in 7 years, I have 4,121 likes. Okay? On my Periscope account, which I've spent no money on whatsoever, I have 4,239 likes in 7 months. So let me just point something out to you. 7 years on Facebook to get 4,100 likes. 7 months on Periscope to get 4,200 fans. Okay? So that to me is pretty insane. 7 months versus 7 years. The reason why this is, and this is what I've learned, is that we all know our social media platforms. We know Instagram. Everybody here knows Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. What I have learned is, because it's live video, and because Periscope is a bit of a unicorn, there is no faster way out there on social media to get people to know, like, and trust you and your business than Periscope. Period. Hands down. That's why I'm on it every day. I'm still on Periscope 5 days a week. I get on 5 days a week for 20 minutes a day on Periscope. I continue to make money from it. I continue to grow my audience. I continue to do all these things that I'm really not doing on Instagram, on Twitter. A little bit on Facebook has been good to me for my photography business and other things, because I'm able to advertise on Facebook through my fans and in other ways. So Facebook advertising is great, but finding people and connecting with people, Periscope has done things for me that I've never done before. I've created partnerships with people that I've never would have met before. I've met up with people and created ventures with them. I hired my coach off of Periscope. I've had people hire me multiple times as a photographer off just getting to know me, literally seeing me on Periscope, being like, hey, this guy's not a jerk. Oh, he's a photographer. Oh, let me look at his photography. Oh, his photography's good. I like it. Hired. So that doesn't really happen that way through Instagram. And the reason why is because it's live and in the moment. And there's something that happens, and we're experiencing it right now. There's something that happens when you're live and in the moment with people, and there's a transaction happening that doesn't happen even on YouTube in a pre-recorded video. So if you don't know Periscope at all, I'll just give you a little bit of what it is. It's a live video app. It's a live video app that allows you to stream a live video at any given time from anywhere in the world. And what happens is people can comment on it, and you can have an interaction through the comments. The cool thing is you always have the microphone. No one else can talk. You're the only one talking. But what's going to happen is people can tap the screen and give you hearts and letting you know that what you're saying is landing and that they're excited and they're taking action on that. Secondly, you can see comments and then on the fly interact with your viewers. It just creates a connection that you don't get in anything else. There's five things that anybody can do to make money off of Periscope. And they're not what you think, but I'm going to give them to you right now. Side note, PS, this stuff is transferable into your business, into the Beachbody business right now, or any business for that matter, okay? Anytime you're interacting with a client or a potential client or a lead or whatever, this stuff works awesome on Periscope. It can work really good in anything else. The first thing is compassion for your audience. You have to have compassion for your audience. When you really care about who you're talking to, above all else, that's going to come through. And if you have a secret wish for your client, and I'll tell you my not so secret wish for everybody that's watching this right now, is that I want to do everything I can to help you live your life on your own terms. Right now, I'm helping you through Periscope. But my wish for everybody in this room is that they'll continue to live their life on their own terms at a higher level every day. So compassion for your audience. What's your wish for them when you come in contact? What do you hope for them? What do you want to help them achieve? Number one is compassion. And when it's genuine, that comes through and magical things happen. I'll tell you another thing that can happen on Periscope in lines of compassion. Oddly enough, the more personal something is, thus the more universal it is. The shortest distance between two people is embarrassment. I have a very close friend of mine. She's a single mom. She is in, she says her age, so I'll say her age. She's a health coach, diet coach. She's just turned 50. Her kids she shares her kids with her husband, and the kids go away for a weekend. Every other weekend they go away. Well, Lori had alone time in her house. And when we have alone time, we do alone things when the kids aren't around. Well, Lori had her alone time, and she left her alone time thing out on top of the mantle and forgot. And her son came home, who is 15 years old, and it doesn't look like a fun thing. It just looks like a thing. And he picks this up, and he goes, "Mom," and she comes in the room, and there he is holding this, all right? And she looks at him, and he doesn't know what it is. And he's like, "Mom, what is this?" And she's just totally like shocked, like stunned, like doesn't know what to do. And then he's waving it at her, and it goes on. And then there it is on. And then she looks at his face and realizes that he realizes what this thing is. So she just kind of goes over and she just takes this thing. She's like, "I'm just going to take that." He leaves the room. She's like, yeah, they just kind of part ways. Later on that night, she goes to kind of tuck him in, and she's like, "Here's the thing about being a parent. You don't always know what to say." She's like, "Do you want to talk about this afternoon?" He's like, No, I don't want to talk about it. She's like, okay. I just wanted to make sure you don't want to talk about it this afternoon. I tell this story because this is something she told on Periscope, and just watching your faces right now, here's the thing about compassion. This is never going to happen to me. I don't have kids. I don't, as of yet, have any one of those toys, right? So this is not going to happen to me. So I don't relate to the details of the story. But what I do relate to is being absolutely humiliated by someone close to me. So as we're seeing in this interaction, and I get to feel your energy, and you would have been commenting on Periscope, there is that short distance that can happen on live stream video that can't happen anywhere else. And that's not even my story. That's somebody else's story that I'm telling. The second thing, number 2, is value. We hear this word kicked around a lot, right? Value this, value that. Value, what really is value? It depends. Is it valuable to your audience, right? Value can come in many forms. I feel like for me, value is inspiration and instruction as per whatever your area of expertise is, as whatever your space is, right? Value for somebody that's a programmer is absolutely of no value for me whatsoever, right? Because I don't have that pain point. So really value is almost always connected to a pain point, right? It's like, trying to lose some weight, like, okay, in pain, here's a valuable thing that I can give you that worked for me that can help you. Value is so, and every time you get on there, I always say this, you have to have a reason to hit start broadcast. You want to have a reason, right? Why am I clicking start broadcast right now? Why am I opening my mouth? Why am I talking? What are they going to get? My favorite kind of value is when there's a call to action attached to it. I always want my audience to take some sort of action from my broadcasts. It's different every time, but you want to get them to do something that they're able to do right in that moment if you really want to help them. Not some long, processy thing that they're going to put off until never. Something that they can do right then and there. So compassion, value. Third thing is consistency. Consistency, right? Kind of sounds like an exercise program, right? Gotta be consistent, okay? Consistency in 2 ways. One, in the kind of content you're presenting and who you are. You don't have to, like, let's say, you're a coach. You don't always have to do weight loss stuff or exercise stuff. You can do cool tips for your hair. It doesn't, just something of value as you get to know your audience. But you want to be consistent, and you want to treat yourself like a TV station, right? You want to get people looking ahead, right? For those of you that watch Game of Thrones or, right? I see Christina like, dude, how pissed would you be if Sunday night came along and we're waiting all this time and then Game of Thrones didn't come on? We'd freak out. We'd break the internet. We would break HBO or like whatever. Like, it's just, that's it. So being consistent and thinking of yourself like regularly scheduled programming, 10 to 20 minutes a day, 10 to 20 minutes a day. It's not a lot of time to get on there. Okay. Being consistent so your audience can look forward to seeing. I have people show up in my broadcast every time. I see their name come up and there they are again every day. They're waiting for me. They want to connect with me, and you want to give them the opportunity to do that. So consistency is super important. Vulnerability. This is 4. Yep. Christina, number 4 is vulnerability. More so than anything else, I'll tell you, I've struggled with alcohol and substance abuse, and I'm awesome now. Things are great beyond that, but this is a part of me and a part of my story. When I share that stuff, the emails that come flying at me, the stories that come to me that I don't prompt, that I don't request, wow, amazing. And what happens is when we're vulnerable, we remind everybody else that they're not alone. And that's super powerful. That doesn't happen that way on anything else. I love theater, and I love concerts. One of the main reasons why is because there's a transaction that happens in the moment, and there's so much impact there that you just even can't get from a movie, and I love movies. So vulnerability, opening up about your struggle. People will relate to your struggle far greater and far faster than they'll ever relate to your successes. And here's a little thing that you might already know. If I offer you my struggle, you're not going to ask for proof. If I offer you my success, you're going to ask for proof. If I'm like, I made $100 million in 1 year. Yeah, show me, dude. Show me. It's like, my son found my vibrator. You're not going to be like, dude, I don't believe you. Show me a video. Right? No. So it's something to think about that. Vulnerability is so important, and it has a huge impact on Periscope. Last but not least, conversion. Converting these people into a longer relationship. I don't like to think of it as converting people to clients. I like to think is like kind of shifting my view on it. It's really like continuing and growing a relationship. Ladies, we all know that relationships, right, are either growing or dying, right? I had a client here just last night, and she said she was with her boyfriend for like, I was like 6.5 years or something like that. And they just got engaged like a year ago or something. And she's like, yeah, we were ready. I go, we were ready, or were you ready? She's like, I was ready. And then I make sure he was ready. Like, so our relationships, we have to continue to invest in them. So at the end of these 4 things is a conversion, and you have to give your audience an opportunity to continue the relationship with you, right? And it's got to come in the form of some sort of monetary exchange, because that's how we value relationships. If we're not paying for it, we're not going to value it, right? So you want to say, okay, here's an opportunity to sign up for my program. Here's an opportunity to become a coach with me. Here's an opportunity to get on my team. And whatever that is, people want to continue a relationship, and it's your responsibility to offer them some way to do that. Because if you do all this stuff really well, if you have compassion for your audience, you deliver value, you're consistent, you're vulnerable, if you don't have a way to convert them, it's kind of all for nil. And it's like not offering them a second date. You want to be able to do that. If you do those 5 things and you do them well, you're in the top 10% of anybody that's on Periscope. Now, here's the coolest part about this. If you get on Periscope consistently, these skills are transferable into basically any other medium. Anytime you got to get on stage and talk, right? We all have to do that at some point. If you have to get on a YouTube video, if you get interviewed on a video, right? Stuff like that, you'll get better and better and better at it. This is one of the biggest mistake. I'm going to give you right now the biggest mistake any of us make when we get in front of a camera. And I have the right to say this because I've been doing it 13 years and I've seen it forever. The biggest mistake anybody makes when we get in front of a camera is to think it's about us. It's the biggest mistake. It's never about us. It's about you guys. You guys don't come here to see me. You come here to see you. Right? Julianne Moore said that about acting. She said that my audience doesn't come to the theater to see me. They come to see themselves. So when you realize that this is not about you, first of all, it takes a huge amount of pressure off yourself, right? You go, wow, whew, great, not about me, it's about my audience, awesome. Secondly, you become very interesting because you cease to be self-conscious. Self-conscious people are boring people, right? Right? Us actors in the room know that, right? The more connected you are to your partner, the more attractive you become, right? When you get those 2 people in public, like the way too much PDA, like you got to look over there because just for some reason, or they're screaming at each other or something, or there's a fight or something, like you just have to look over because they become magnetic. They become attractive because they're not focused on themselves. When our attention goes inward, it'll destroy you. And then you'll go up here and then you'll start thinking, and then it'll ruin your life. And nobody wants that. So what you want to do is you want to drive at a feeling. How do you want your audience to feel? Do you want them to feel empowered, inspired, sexy, scared, whatever it is? And when you're driving at that feeling and when you're working towards it, you're awesome. You become magnetic and really interesting to watch. It's when we become self-conscious that stuff just starts to get a little crappy for us. I'm just looking at my list here to make sure I went over everything. Can I do a quick screen share? Let me show you some things here. I want to so outside of, and I'm keeping an eye on the time, we're almost at 30. Outside of what I've talked about so far, Periscope is marketing gold. Watch this. Let me share my screen here. Share screen. Desktop. Okay. Can we see this here? Can you see my screen? Okay, cool. Look at this. This is called app.fullscope.tv, I think it is. These are all of my broadcasts here, all right? And it's telling me how many viewers per broadcast were live, how many watch it on replay, and then how many people watch it on the internet. Now watch this. It also tells me who are my most engaging people right here. All the data is right there. Would this be valuable to a coach to know who likes you the most? Guess what I can do? I can go like this, click on their name, and be like, hey, You rock. And send them a tweet and let them know, thank you for signing up for my broadcast. I can also see who's the most frequent over here, who comes in and sees me the most. Then I can focus on my top 10. I can focus on my super fans. The information is right here, right? Who gave me the most hearts? Right here. If I just want to know in a broadcast what people were doing, taking action, I can go to broadcasts here, and it's going to show me everything. So I go here, and I can literally see who watched, how long this person watched the broadcast. So percent of time descending, and I can see that Jamie here watched the whole broadcast. And all these people here were at 100%. David did, and so on and so forth. This is all data. Now, this isn't even really cool data. Watch this. So this is a broadcast right here. Oh, P.S. Let me just skip back here. When I'm creating content for my audience, watch this. The title of this broadcast here was What to Do When You Feel You're Not Enough. Okay? Title of this broadcast was Real-Time Periscope Analytics. Next time I Periscope, what do you think I'm going to talk about? Topic around this. Because the hard data is there. I don't have to guess. Everybody loved this. People came flying into this broadcast way better than this topic right here. I'm going to axe talking about this in the future, and I'm going to hold on and talk this. Now watch this. So this is catch.me. What it does is it grabs all your broadcasts and saves them. But that's not where the gold is. The gold is right here. See this? These are all the comments in my broadcast, right? I can go through here, and anytime, and I have my virtual assistant go through, anytime I see a question, I write that down. Why do I do that? Because that's another bit of value that I could give somebody. Someone might be in, hey, how do I do this? So I look for a question. And then what I do is I write that down for my future Periscope, future email list, whatever that is. Your audience is literally going to give you all of this stuff to talk about. People are like, I don't have enough content. I'm like, that's over. It's all right here. And I can see what people are saying. Sometimes, and there's a lot of comments here, right? I'm just trying to see if I can find a question. I didn't pre-screen this to see if there'd even be a question in here. Here we're talking about she tracks her week. And this is, I think we were doing, what to do when you feel you're not enough. This was a huge one. So I have 380 comments in this one broadcast, all this stuff. And then they'll repeat what you say and you'll see what landed. So in this broadcast, I said, sometimes we think we're not enough. I believe because we were born, we were enough. And you don't need to do anything to be enough except be born. But this is all of everybody's stuff right here. So this is catch.me. That was app.fullscope.tv. Then also what I can do is repurpose these broadcasts. I can download this here and then post this on my Facebook page. So one of the things we want to do is we want to be everywhere, right? So I have people that follow me on Periscope that are on my Facebook page that don't follow me on Periscope. So let me take this video and put it on my Periscope page and repurpose the content. And I can do this 2 months from now. I can do it today, whatever that might be. What I also do is I go for the comments and I just click on the name. It sends me right, her account got suspended. I click on the name, goes right over to Twitter, and I can just tweet at her and say, hey, thanks for joining me this morning. How cool would it feel when your host personally takes the time to be like, hey, thanks for tuning in. So this is my whole 2 cents, or really like a lot more than 2 cents on, I'm going to stop the screen share here if I can see how to do that. No idea how to do that.
Just click at the top. It'll say stop screen share.
Thank you very much. Boom. So that's my whole Periscope spiel. I'll answer any questions you have. If you have questions, I'm happy to do a little Q&A. And yeah, please.
I just have to say I love your 5 tips, especially the one actually the value, the consistency, and the vulnerability, because those are things we preach about all the time as coaches on social media. And it's not easy to be vulnerable, but I always say that's what allows emotion is what connects you to people. And if you want to go from a salesperson into somebody that can actually impact people's lives, you have to be vulnerable. So I loved what you shared about that.
Thank you.
We did have a question in the chat. Jeremy asked, do fans get push notifications when you go live?
They do, yes. I'll be 100% honest with you right now. Periscope is revamping some things in the background. So notifications are a little wonky, but everybody gets a push notification when you go live. I get them like crazy. So when you go live, that push notification comes right up. You can turn them off. But yes, you do get push notifications. Oh, you're muted, Dana.
Does anybody have questions for Michael?
I'm an open book, seriously. So
I thought the videos disappeared after 24 hours, but the full scoped TV is how you can download it.
Exactly. So the videos do disappear after 24 hours from Periscope. But if you use these back-end apps, they will capture them. You're the only one that has access to them.
Okay.
So you can, there are some that I've deleted. I'm like, that sucked. And I'm not going to leave that up there anymore. So like if I get off, I'm like, wow, that was really bad. I go to just hide it. You can hide it on catch.me. It's very easy to do, to just hide the broadcast. So Christina brings up a really good point. It's a transient medium. And I actually don't keep a lot of my replays up because I want to keep the urgency. I want people showing up in that 24 hours. I want people that are going to take action. Because we all know if you don't do it soon, the odds are you're just not going to do it.
I'm glad they disappeared because I've been trying this week. And
oh, good. Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, totally. You're like, I don't want any of that up there.
I was literally like talking to, I think my problem was that I felt like I was talking to myself, so I didn't craft my audience.
No worries.
And so I was like, I am rambling. I got to shut this down.
You're like, thank God it's gone.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, around consistency, what are your thoughts, or do you always, when you get on like the 5 times a week, do you get on at the same time of day to try and develop that behavior, or do you get different times of day to get different audiences? That's
a really great question. I do get on at 9:30 Monday through Friday Eastern time because that's when my audience wants me to show up. And then I keep it consistent, again, like a TV show. Do I get on separate times once in a while? Yeah, like a bonus time, like something will happen and I'll be like, hey, check this out. But I do try to show up at those times so I can make sure that I'm connecting with my viewers that want to make sure they're making time in their life to see me. Yeah,
awesome. Thanks.
And it just, and like, truthfully, I'm trying to find out when the best time is to go on. I know 5 p.m. is around a very good time to go on because viewership is very high at that time. But I also know the people that I want to reach are early risers. I mean, I'm up at like 6:30 in the morning, and my audience tends to be people that are up in the morning, with the coffee, writing down their goals for the day. So and they love having that 9:30 a.m. time to have me kind of get them going into the day because I do like a lot of inspiration stuff and try to send people rocking off into their day. And 9:30 is a great time to do that for East Coast, and then it backtracks to the West Coast as well.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
This might be kind of a strange question, but I've gotten a lot better with it, obviously. But when I first started coaching, like a little over 2 years ago, I was like terrified of speaking in any kind of a platform, and I'm pretty comfortable on videos and things like that now. But do you do anything specific before you start recording? Like, do you meditate or do you hype yourself up? Or
okay, all right, cool. I'm glad you asked that question. So I was forgetting to even mention it, but I have a course on this. It's called Livestream Profit Machine, and Christina's got a link. So in the course, there are techniques that you can use to get ready to scope. Now, I'll tell you exactly what I do. And what I do is, so the course it's a 6-week online course. You can take it at your own pace. You get a video a week. They're like 10 to 20 minute videos and worksheets. If you've ever done any of Shalene's stuff like online, it's very similar to that. It's even hosted on the same platform as Shalene. So week 1, we talk about you and what you're passionate about. Week 2, we talk about your audience. Week 3, I give you, I believe, an on-camera crash course. So you'll learn, because I'm a pro photographer, I teach you how to light yourself, inexpensively. I teach you sound, head position, stuff like that. 4, I give you a broadcast structure, like a script that you can use to work your way through the broadcast. 5, week 5, I talk about how to create content, where it can come from and how to do that. And then 6, I give you some tips on monetization, how to monetize your stream. There's a few ways you can do it. They're all inexpensive ways that anybody can do, and you don't need lots of back-end stuff. So to go back to your question though, Dana, I have been doing this a while. I know that I have to stay out of my head. So this is what I do. I have a list of bullet points, just like I had here. And I have enough expertise in the subject area that I can look at a bullet point and talk truthfully. I want to be honest. I do not want to read from a freaking teleprompter. I do not want to read from notes. I want to pay attention to you guys. And I want it to come from a real in the moment place. So, and I'll be honest, in the beginning of this broadcast, I'm a little wonky. And then I'm like, okay, boom, in the moment, here we go. Things are flowing. So I do bullet points and I remind myself, there's one thing you want to be cognizant of. You want to be cognizant of the path of each viewer through your broadcast. So let's say this is a broadcast, right? Christina came in the beginning, okay? And she stayed to the end. Dana, you came in the middle and stayed to the end. So what I want to do is, throughout the broadcast, talk about what I'm talking about. And one of the coolest things I love about London is on the subway, on the tube there, they call it, not the subway. They're so polite and so awesome. Whenever they come to a stop, they say this: for the benefit of those just getting on the train, the next stop is etc. And the reason why they do that is because they know that the people on the train know what the next stop is. So they're like, hey guys, we know you got it, but this is for the benefit of people just joining. So I say, for the benefit of those just joining, I'm talking about how to, attract more people on Periscope. And I do that throughout. And it's cool because I hit Christina 3 or 4 times with it, so she gets the repetition. And then Dana, when you come in halfway, you're not like, what the hell is this thing about? Even though the title is there, it's still there. So I try to welcome people as much as I can as they go on. When you get like 80 people, 100 people in the room, it's hard because shit starts flying. But that's what I do to prep. I have my bullet points. I like to interact with the audience. I don't just go all the way through. One of the things I think people do like about me is that I do take comments on the fly. And that's another reason to have bullet points, because what'll happen is I'll go off on a comment and then I can steer right back to my script, what I was doing. But I like to kind of shape it like, welcome, Michael Cinquino. This is who I am. This is what I'm talking about today. Welcome, replay viewers, acknowledge the people on replay. Welcome, live viewers. Welcome your super fans coming in. And then go right into the content. Some people like to do the tease. I don't like that. I don't like doing that. Some people are like, all right, I'm not going to start talking about this awesome content until there's 100 people in the room. It's a great way to get a lot of people in the room, but it doesn't respect the time of the people that showed up for you right away. And these are minutes you guys are never going to get back. So I like to just try to get right into things. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome.
Does anybody else have questions? I can Periscope about having a crazy 3-year-old.
But you know what? That's another thing though. Like, people with kids, bring them into the scene. Like a lot of times, like a lot of people I talk to, a lot of my clients have kids. They're like stay-at-home mom. They got 2 of these things, little humans strapped here. And it's okay. Like, the thing is, like, there's a rule: no dogs or kids on stage, because they're so much more interesting, except when you bring them into the situation. And it's okay. Like, I watched plenty of scopes where one of the best, and it wasn't because she was breastfeeding, but one of the best educational scopes I ever saw was a scope on breastfeeding. Lauren Saglambini, who's in, who I think I introduced you to, Christina, she gave a scope on breastfeeding. I'm like, I learned so much. And I was like, I wanted to get on Facebook and be like, any of my girlfriends out there breastfeeding, but I just didn't want to ask that question on Facebook. But it was a really cool instructional thing. It's like, hey, let me show you. I'm like, oh, you have to put your hand like this. I'm like, I never knew that. Like, that's really interesting stuff. So she gave a tutorial on that, and it was really valuable for women that might be spending a lot of money on a program. So I would say, if you have kids, bring them in, put them there. They're there. Other people have kids that want to be able to see this and not have to feel like they got to lock their kid. Here we go. Adorable. Bring them on. There he is. See, right there. So he's chilling back there. Love it. So I'd say bring your kids in. You don't have to. They're part of the show, man. It's totally fine. Aw. Yeah, we got to see Elliot on there, Christina.
I mean, the only things that I've been scoping about have been family things because I can't. I don't know what else to talk about.
But that's where you're at right now. Totally.
Yeah. He's asleep though.
Awesome. If there's any more questions, I'll take them. If not, I'll let y'all get on with your call.
Well, big thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. I know that you inspire so many on lots of different levels. And so I thank you for taking the time to talk to our team, and hopefully people have found value in this and can take their business to the next level.
Thank you for having me. It was great to be here. You have your link for the course. You can hand out my contact information as well. If anybody wants to ask a question offline, I'm happy to answer that as well. My pleasure, Laura. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm going to disconnect. My pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.